Finally, Ibrahim Trao're survived his own assassination deadline. They had a deadline in which they were supposed to take out Ibrahim Trao're. It was by end of May, and that one is past already. They tried everything. They tried penetrating the government of Burkina Faso and some government officials. They were involved, and some of them they were arrested and some they were fired, while some military soldiers, they were also involved. Some they escaped all the way to Ivory Coast. Even when Ibrahim Trao're was in Russia, they tried to take over the government, but they failed because Ibrahim Trao're has been receiving a lot of advanced military tools, and he used those tools to take them out. More than 1,000 terrorists. Can you believe this? He neutralized more than 1,000 terrorists, and also they've been trying everything. They've been bringing terrorists in Burkina Faso and hiding them in the cave, and finally Ibrahim Trao're always catches them. They never succeed. They even tried to smuggle weapons inside Burkina Faso so that they can give to the terrorists, but they also failed. Burkina Faso government catches them every time that they try something to take him out. Ibrahim Trao're is one step ahead of them, so they never succeed. And now Ibrahim Trao're survived their assassination deadline.
The United States had planned to go and visit Burkina Faso, but the reaction and reception they received from the black people across the continent is so mind-blowing, and they decided that they're going to use a different approach to reach Burkina Faso. What they decided to do is to use a different person instead of using General Michael Langley, and this person is called Brigadier General Bravin R.M. Anderson. That's the same person that is going to visit Burkina Faso after blacks stood against General Michael Langley. Remember, this comes after the United States had realized that General Michael Langley is never accepted in Africa. No any other country needs General Michael Langley to visit them, since, once General Michael Langley visits any country, then the president of that country will be seen as a puppet to the West by people from Africa. That's why they've decided to use a different approach by sending one of their own to convince Captain Ibrahim Trao're. Do you think it's a good move for the United States to insist in visiting Burkina Faso?
Because of this video, Africans will never trust the United States of America, regardless who they present to us, whether it is this black general here or this African president, in fact, who is working so hard with the United States and Paris to destabilize Burkina Faso. Let us watch this video, please.
The Americans are more interested in a transgender, homosexual agenda around the world. They will invest their money and give you money to protect human rights. Russia and China are coming with weapons and militarization strategies so that we can protect ourselves. So I want to say this very loud and clear to the Americans. Continue on your transgender agenda. Stay there. Leave us to do politics on the other side. Because what we need right now is not a minority human rights activation. What we need is a societal transformation. For you as Americans to think that we really envy that when you have an anti-lesbian, anti-gay, LGBT principle, then tourists would drop. Let me correct that once and for all. And cut and clip this, and it must be loud and clear. Are you saying to me that all the tourists are gay? And when you hear that this is a non-gay zone, tourism will suffer? Question number one. Question number two. Are you saying that we don't have the right to expressing ourselves as Africans? Question number three. If democracy means majority rules and majority votes against a principle, then why won't you allow that to become law? Are you saying the minority must manage the majority, or the majority must manage the minority? Then if that whole ideology is wrong, then take democracy in a nice black dustbin bag and throw it outside. Because what you are telling us is by the people, for the people, with the people, and all those slogans you hear, what democracy represents. If we are 10 in the room and 9 people say no, and one person says yes, democracy says you go with the majority. So if we say we want to make Africa democratic, and the demographics of our democracy says no, then why do you philosophically want to manipulate the will of the majority to favor the minority? This is where it really gets confusing to me. Because you're selling me one thing, I understand it is democracy, because it is based on the principle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When it comes to practice, no, you can't practice it like that. Then what do you want? Do you want democracy? Yeah. Do you want anarchy? Do you want indigenous governance systems? Do you want meritocracy? Maybe let's find another way of governing ourselves. But an ideology of democracy being founded on majority rule does not count. Because the rule that African constitution right now is not majority count. I will go on record for being on your show and saying it loud and clear without mixing words. Put 100 people on an island and lock them away from everybody. Put 100 people on an island who are heterosexual. Those are homosexual. Come back after 50 or 20 or 30 years. On that island, you'll find graves with no living being dead. On this island, you'll find 10,000 people growing and exploring and moving. So, having said that, we as a society, particularly as African society, we also as traditional people have a right to our self-preservation and continuity as a people. Alternative lifestyles must be practiced where they must be practiced, but the main agenda of societal drive must be left to the right, because even those that are on the left come from the right. I don't know if that makes sense. The conversation that we had for the same-sex marriages was very tricky for me, because it did not seek to address the core issue. Are we saying this is what the people want? Or are we saying this is what the international community wants? Point number one. Point number two, in the event that I decide as a heterosexual that I want to bring up my children in a heterosexual way, why does the homosexual want to stand on the path of my own children and how I want to institutionalize them, and then pollute them with what they want? If you want to pollute these children, make your own. Why come to the heterosexual and then dictate the ways of the homosexual? So who is the right this time? Are you saying the right rely with the homosexual, or the right rely with the heterosexual? The balance needs to be found right there. That every citizen has got the right to life and decide how they want to run their lives and how they want to bring up their children, etc. And so ultimately we might end up with an Urania. Let's create a state where this can happen there. And those who want to live in this other space, they can move into that space. And we are free to choose to change. It's a very deeper conversation. But we're giving it the time it demands. We're giving it the depth of thought that it demands. So that in the midst of human rights, we don't become emotional over protect gay rights, protect heterosexual rights. Because when you protect homosexual rights, you also need to become respectful.
Everything this man says is 100% true, especially in Africa. When the West is talking about democracy, if the democracy is for the government of people, by the people and for the people, which means that the people should choose. But if the African people choose their own leaders, the Western countries comes and said, no, we want this one to be in power, which means that they only talks about democracy, but they do not want Africans to practice democracy. In the case of Nigeria today, for instance, if you go there, the governance systems, majority of the people, if they should have a vote, they will definitely vote out the current leaders that are in there. But because of the laws, if you do these things, we are going to do that to you. They cannot do that, and they cannot in fact protest or do certain things. Or in other African countries, basically, the leaders which were killed by the Western world simply because they are doing something for their people. And if the majority of the people also say, we do not want these things in our society, which means that that is also part of the democratic, process at the end of the day. But no, it is only in Africa whereby if the people choose, the outside powers can say no, which means that the people have no say. And the same outside powers, they will still be talking about democracy. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think in this video? This is why the so-called African democratic leaders right now, whether it is Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and other African countries, those are the ones who are betraying Africa. Because the West is unaliving our great leaders. They will not come out to talk about that. They will not come out to defend those great leaders. They will wait. Once those leaders are gone, they will make themselves that they are very sad that what happens in those particular countries. In the case of Thomas Sankara, in the case of Patrice Lumumba, which African countries put sanctions on the Western world, on the United States or on Belgium? No African country. But yeah, they still have relationship with those countries, the same countries that are destroying your countries, your people at the end of the day. But let me know what do you guys think in the comments, please.
In this place and around the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, the salute is rendered to Allah. The President of FASO, Captain Ibrahim Trao're, performed the Tabaski prayer with the soldiers. a moment of prayer and reflection on the life of the nation. It is also an opportunity to remind everyone of the importance of religion.
Religion should be something that unites us, that strengthens our faith, that deepens our love for others and our love for our country and for the defense and security forces who are fighting on the ground. It is through religion that they draw their faith, their love for others and their love for their country, which drives them to fight even to the ultimate sacrifice. I believe that going to pray with these men sends a message to the entire nation so that we can draw inspiration from their examples in religion to strengthen their faith, their love for their country, fighting to the point of ultimate sacrifice, and that each of us should use religion to unite us rather than letting religion divide us. So this is the message I wanted to convey by going this time to be with those who are sacrificing themselves for the nation, to pray with them, to pray for the return of peace in Burkina Faso so that religion can be a force for love and dignity.
How you doing?
Hi. Guys, let's hold on, guys.
Where you from?
Hi, I'm from Nigeria. I'm streaming from Australia. What about you?
You know what that is?
I don't know, it's African. Guys, who is that? Guys, who is that on the screen?
Africa right now. I'm in America. You hear me? I'm in America. I'm in Virginia. I'm always in America. And you don't even know the president of Burkina Faso. Watch it crash out, y'all.
Me. Let's be the one to stress him instead.
Why don't you know the president of Burkina Faso?
Let me drop him, my beg. I'll just...
Watch it crash out. I told you she's embarrassed. I told you she was gonna drop us. I told you. And shit, yo, right now, listen, everybody in Africa, that's what I'm talking about. You can never get on your American people when you have people right there in the continent that don't know. And she 40. She is 40 years old.
My mouth.
I'm a mixed man.
You go by self disconnect.
I don't know, whatever.
You go by self disconnect.
Whatever, disconnect nothing.
With your character. Come on, live here and stop eating and falling the food from your mouth. It's disgusting.
Because
okay? It's really disgusting.
You don't know your people.
They ain't like him best.
I told you someone crash out. They all do. She met, listen.